student reporter Clementine Mooney. I'm here today to tell you about how Chris Smalls and Derek Palmer, two Amazon workers, led the effort to successfully unionize an Amazon warehouse in Staten Island, New York. This was the first Amazon warehouse to ever unionize. Chris and Derek were friends and co-workers at the Staten Island warehouse. According to the New York Times, Chris Smalls was a 33-year-old Amazon worker who'd been working in Amazon warehouses for 7 years. Derek had been working in Amazon warehouses since 2015. In 2020, Chris and Derek organized a walkout protesting COVID safety conditions at Amazon. That same day, Chris was fired. Amazon claimed it was because he violated COVID protocols. A few days later, an Amazon lawyer accidentally sent out an email referring to Chris as not smart or articulate and advising to make him the public face of all organizing at Amazon. In an interview with the New York Times, Chris said that this motivated him to start the union. Amazon was not on board with his decision. According to union expert Chris Boner, large companies often don't support their workers' desire to unionize because the benefits and wages will increase and cost the company more, and the company doesn't like to lose control of how work is done. 70% of the public approves of labor unions. We interviewed a resident of Arlington, Virginia, and she said, "I think it's great the workers at some of these tech companies want to unionize. It gives them more power and lets the companies know they can't take advantage of their workers." Soon afterwards, in Bessemer, Alabama, a large and established labor union tried to unionize an Amazon warehouse. According to Chris Boner, a problem with this approach is that the workers don't feel like it's their union. When the Bessemer effort failed, Chris and Derek understood they had to do things differently. Chris went to Walmart and bought 2 tables, 4 chairs, and a tent. Trying to connect with the workers, Chris would set up at the bus station close to the Amazon warehouse and talk to workers as they got on and off shifts. In order for there to be a union vote, 30% of the workers had to sign authorization cards. Once they had talked to all of the day workers, they began to stay overnight for the workers on night shifts. In an interview with the New York Times, Chris talked about how his team and the workers formed a community. They sang songs, prayed, had bonfires, and cooked s'mores. They even paid for an Uber for an employee to go to the hospital when Amazon wouldn't. Meanwhile, Derek was still working in the warehouse at Amazon and talking to workers inside. As an organizer on the inside, he could reveal the truth about some of the rumors Amazon was spreading about unionizing. Chris said whatever it took to get even one worker, we were doing it. Chris and Derek eventually received permission from the National Labor Relations Board to set up inside the building. However, when Chris tried to enter the building to bring food to the workers, Amazon had him arrested for trespassing. According to Chris, they lost the election right there. Amazon spent $4.3 million that year in anti-union efforts. Derek and Chris's team spent $120,000. On the day of the union vote, Chris wore his favorite color red and got to watch the union officials as they counted the vote. By the time they had gotten down to the last 2 boxes, they were ahead by several hundred votes. According to a New York Times interview, that was when Chris and Derek knew they had won. Chris says that they won because their campaign was built off of pure love and caring for one another. As of now, Amazon warehouse JFKA on Staten Island is the only Amazon warehouse to successfully unionize. However, Chris and Derek's success has been an inspiration, and there are ongoing efforts to unionize warehouses across the country.